Do you know how many complex and unique traits our brain has, usually hidden deep within our psyche? Would you like to find out what's happening inside your head? Here are 10 unusual psychological facts you might not have known. This knowledge will help you better understand how your consciousness functions and how you can use this information in everyday life. Fact number 1. We regularly change our own memories. You know, we often think of our memories as old movies stored somewhere on the shelves in our brain. Some are covered in dust because we haven't recalled them for a long time, while others shine from cleanliness because we think about them often. But here's what's interesting. Scientists have discovered that each time we recall the past, our memories change. This happens because we constantly have new experiences that mix with the old ones. When we talk about the past, we always add some emotions to our words. And if we tell the same story over and over, our emotions will differ slightly each time. Because of this, our memories transform over time. They're like living beings that grow and change with us. And that's okay because that's how we grow, learn, and develop as individuals. Our memories are not just recordings in the brain, they're a part of our history that lives and breathes with us. Fact number 2. We can't ignore 3 things: hunger, sex, and danger. Have you ever wondered why we often slow down to gawk at accidents or stand and watch the rooftops of buildings where someone might commit suicide? It's gruesome, of course, but we're all curious creatures. We're drawn to find out what will happen next in these critical situations. But you know, there's an area in our brain responsible for the survival instinct. It's what constantly pushes us to scan our surroundings and ask ourselves 3 important questions. Can this be eaten? Is this suitable for reproduction? Does this threaten my life? These questions are like basic programs that run in our subconscious and help us survive in this world. Interesting, right? Fact number 3. Multitasking doesn't exist. Well, here's what scientists say. We humans aren't as multifunctional as we sometimes think. By and large, we can only focus on one thing at a time, especially men. But there's an exception. If one of the tasks is something simple that we do without much thought. For example, you can calmly walk down the street, chat on the phone, and simultaneously enjoy a coffee because walking and drinking come naturally to you. It's like when you ride a bike and listen to music at the same time, your legs pedal on their own and you just enjoy the melody. Fact number 4. We don't have many friends. Sociologists and psychologists studying society have discovered an interesting fact called Dunbar's number. This number shows how many close friends a person can actually have. And it turns out that no matter how many friends you have online, in reality, we can only closely interact with 5 of them. So, even if you have thousands of followers or friends on social networks, true closeness is only possible with a limited number of people, just 5. Fact number 5. We're happier when we're busy. All right, let's imagine 2 different scenes at the airport. You need to pick up your luggage. Scene 1. You leisurely walk to the baggage carousel while talking on the phone. It takes you about 10 minutes. As soon as you arrive, you see your suitcase just passing by, and you pick it up without any trouble. Scene 2. You dash out of the plane and run to the carousel to get your things as quickly as possible. You get there in 2 minutes, but then you stand and wait another 8 minutes until your suitcase finally appears. In the end, in both cases, you spent the same amount of time getting your luggage. But in the second scenario, you felt worse because most of the time you were just standing and waiting, which always seems longer than when you're busy with something else. Fact number 6. We can only remember up to 4 things at once. Well, here's what the smart folks say. Our brain can only hold 4 pieces of information at once, and that too for only about half a minute. If you don't repeat this info over and over, it'll fly away like the wind. Let's say you're driving and you get a call at the same time. They say, write down this number. But you can't write it down because you're driving, right? You start repeating these numbers to yourself so you don't forget. By repeating them, you keep them in your head for another 20, 30 seconds until you stop running them through your mind. It's like a temporary bookmark until you find a pen and paper. Fact number 7. We perceive things not as they are, but as we see them. Our brain is like an incredibly powerful computer that's always busy processing the information we receive through our senses. It's like an artist painting pictures in our imagination so we can understand them. Take reading, for example. We recognize a word by its first letters, and the rest we fill in automatically. This is all thanks to our brain's ability to fill in the gaps and make quick conclusions without even thinking about it. Fact number 8. We spend about a third of our time daydreaming. Who among us hasn't dozed off in a meeting while thoughts of something pleasant swirled in our head? It happens, right? Well, I'm the same. It seems that a third of the time, we all float somewhere in the clouds, dreaming. And you know why? Our brain just loves to switch from one thing to another. It can't sit still. That's why we can't focus on one task for long. But when we dream, it's as if we're resting. And that's really great. Dreams give us a break and help us relax. So, dream on. Fact number 9. To be happy, we need lots of choices. You know, scientists and marketers have dug around and found out something interesting. It turns out our happiness depends more on how many options we have rather than how cool they are. Apparently, when we have a plethora of choices before us, we feel like we're in heaven. It's all because being able to choose from many options is awesome in itself. So it seems, the more alternatives we have, the happier we are. Who would have thought, right? Fact number 10. Most of our decisions are made unconsciously. We all like to think that we're the complete bosses of our lives, that every step we take is the result of lengthy deliberation. But to be honest, most of the time we're just going with the flow. Imagine, about 70% of what we do every day happens on autopilot. We rarely stop to ask ourselves, why am I doing this? Or how does this work? Mostly, we just do what we do, relying on intuition and habits. It's like when you're driving home and suddenly realize that you don't remember how you passed the last few streets. Our subconscious is like an invisible assistant who takes the wheel while we're occupied with other thoughts. What unusual psychological facts do you know? Share in the comments. Thank you for watching.